to start this, man. Here I was, just sitting in my house, minding my own business. And then my dog just starts barking. I'm in bed. It's about 3 or 4 in the morning. And my dog, he's just barking. On and on and on. And he just won't stop. And I did anything a rational dog owner would do. I gave him water. I fed him. I let him outside use the bathroom. I even let him come up in my bed for cuddles. And yet he barked and barked the entire time. Like he didn't even care. He didn't even acknowledge any of the things I did for him. And that really made me a little angry. I said, work with me, buddy. I'm trying to work with you here, but I just don't speak bark. And my dog, he looked directly at me and he said, bark. And I was dumbfounded. I didn't know what to say to him. I told him, if you don't stop barking and just talk to me like a normal person, I'm gonna have to put you down. 'Cause you're being a real bugger. And I don't want to have to put you down. But if you don't stop, I'm gonna have to. And then I realized I looked around my house and I remembered I don't have a dog. And as I'm looking, the barking is still continuing, and I see it. I see what I was looking for. And it's a man dressed up as a dog in a dog costume from like Walmart. Now here I am, a nice dressed man, deprived of sleep, talking to a man in a dog costume. And I'm like, guy, you can't do this, man. You just can't. And he took his eyes, and he took them and put that gaze right back into mine, and he just barked. So I just grabbed my gun and I just forced him outside. Obviously he was gonna go. I mean, who's gonna want to die by a gun? But once he was outside and I was back in bed, he just started barking again. Over and over and over. And I was sick of it. But I just went to bed because he was no longer trespassing in my property, so there was nothing I could do at that point. And when I woke up, he was still barking. How does a man even bark all night? I tried calling the cops, but the cops, they just couldn't find the man. I looked and searched my whole house. I even turned the power off. I set off an EMP in my house just in case there was like a robotic voice barking thing that he set up in my house. And I couldn't find a single thing. But I still heard him bark. I told him, I said, man, I can't live like this, man. I just can't. And then he appeared, just from around the island in my kitchen. He just walked around, and he stood up on his hind legs, and he just said to me, bark. So I told him to stay put. And I went upstairs and I grabbed my shotgun and I cocked that son of a bitch and I walked back downstairs and I brought him to the backyard and sat him down. I put a big full-size turkey right in front of him and he just started eating it on all fours, just eating the turkey. And I stood over him with my shotgun and I just went, and then it was over. The barking, it was done. That was until he stood back up. Keep in mind, he didn't even have a head anymore, and he stood back up. And he looked at me and just said, bark. I did everything in my power to get rid of the barking. And even when I killed my own dog, the barking continued. It was like a higher force, a higher being was watching over me and torturing me for a crime I committed at some point. I would admit anything just to get some peace and quiet. But that is not what they had in mind, because the barking continued for years and years until now. When the neighbor's dog died, and then it stopped. I never had a dog, but the neighbors did have a dog. And then I thought to myself, who did I kill? For the last 30 years, I was stuck in a white box, padded everywhere. There was no dog. It was the neighbor's dog the whole time. And the person I shot was apparently my little brother.